Hi, warriors. This is Jalen Megahead, My Legal Warrior, and today's segment is about guardian ad litem. So, guardian ad litem is somebody who is filing on behalf of a minor child, their minor child, or somebody that they are a legal guardian for. And they want to file for example, a restraining order against the other parent, or they want to file a restraining order against like another family member. So somewhere there is that like familial, relationship, and that's why they're filing the guardian ad litem. So in order for them to also file a restraining order against the other party, for example. So they have to have aligned interests. It can't be that, sometimes parents think, okay, my child's 16 years old and I just don't want him dating that girl anymore. And so she needs to get away from him. And so I'm going to go ahead and file a restraining order against my child's ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend because I don't want them to be in contact anymore. Nope, that's not why you would file a guardian ad litem, or why you would file a restraining order for that matter. And so we want to use this form for one specific reason. I mean, there's various reasons in the family law proceeding, but the one that we're discussing today is in terms of a restraining order context. So let's say the other parent abused the child, and childs have now reported this sort of abuse. You see markings on their body. They're describing it in a way where you feel that it is in fact believable. They're not making it up. And so you now need to take action. Your first action is to report it to law enforcement. The second is to report it to Child Welfare Services. And the third action is to make sure that you have your child checked out by a medical professional. And a fourth action is to enlist your child in therapy for this traumatic experience that they just experienced. And then you file, or can file, have the option to file for a domestic violence restraining order. And you can file it on behalf of your child. The minor is considered anybody under the age of 18, but if they're 18, still party to a case because they're still in high school, then you can go ahead and file on behalf of this case. But the court allows anybody over the age of 14 to go ahead and file for their own restraining order against the other party, and they don't need your help. But if they are 13 or younger, then they would need to go ahead and they don't need to do anything, but you would need to file the guardian ad litem paperwork along with the restraining order paperwork. So just before we get into the form really quick, I just wanted to provide the child abuse hotline. It's found on the San Diego County government website. And this is the number that you would go ahead and call. And it tells you that the social worker does an immediate assessment. If the child is determined to be at risk, then a social worker is assigned to investigate. So, and this is 24 hours a day, so you can go ahead and make that phone call at any hour. All right, so this is the form that you would go ahead and use in order to complete your paperwork on behalf of your child for a domestic violence restraining order. So you have to identify yourself, and if the child is actually the one that's completing this form, then they have to do their date of birth and who they lived with, the address and names of their parents or the guardian that they're under guardianship under. And then who the child is appointing to be the guardian, or you name, of course, yourself. I need to have your name, your address, and your telephone number, your relationship to the child, and then why it is necessary. So if the court, sees that because I'm filing a domestic violence restraining order, then that makes sense, right? The court's going to allow this application to be processed. And so you would need to sign as the applicant that you understand that you are filing as a guardian ad litem to protect the rights of this child, and it doesn't conflict with the rights of that child either. So that's very important. And then the consent to act as guardian ad litem. So you're actually agreeing to assume this responsibility. And so the court needs you to sign off on here as well. And then if your child's 14 years or older, then they can also complete this part of the form. And you would need the consent of somebody who is 14 years or older in order for you to file a restraining order on their behalf and file it as a guardian ad litem. So that's very important. And so the court can go ahead and order it, whether it's by a ex parte basis, because it's a temporary restraining order, and so therefore it is an ex parte basis. But yeah, the court can go ahead and fill this out, and there you go. You get it, and you can proceed with your domestic violence restraining order between your minor child and the other parent or somebody else that they have a familial relationship with. It's not going to protect you. The restraining order is not going to protect you. It's supposed to just protect the individual, the child, against the other party. Now, sometimes you can name other parties that are living within that household of the child. So you might name yourself, or you might name the other parties that are not the part of other people that are living in that residence that you feel are also, threatened and or have been abused by that individual that you're filing a restraining order against. But it's a case-by-case basis, and so make sure you use your best judgment. You can consult with an attorney as to whether this is the best step for your case, because you definitely don't want to file a restraining order against the other party when it turns out to not be true, or you're not taking other precautionary steps before filing a restraining order. So it depends on your individual circumstance, and hopefully you use your best judgment to protect your child and always do what's in the best interest of the children, because that always comes first. If you found this to be helpful, please share this with friends, families, colleagues, your contacts. You never know who within their contacts might find this to also be helpful to establish, again, a restraining order on behalf of their child. Other than that, please be safe, be well, and we hope that you have an excellent week with the coronavirus being still in effect. We understand it's hard to be quarantined, but we're all in this together. So thank you, guys. Thank you, warriors.